The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation, Stewart Title, or Stewart Insurance. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
Whether you're a real estate broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, everything matters when it comes to real estate. This is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stewart Title's Bill Knapik and guests open the door to what really matters in owning, buying, and selling real estate. And now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance. Here to inform, entertain, and inspire, Bill Knapik.
Welcome to the show. It is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I'm your host, Bill Knapik. Thank you for joining us today. As always, go to stewart.com/radio. That's right. You can see the show on YouTube at stewart.com/radio. In addition, you'll be able to access past shows for the last couple years at stewart.com/radio. So today we have a fantastic show. I do want to mention last week's show we talked about firefighters, helping firefighters, and we actually had a firefighter on the way to a fire check in with our guest who represents the firefighters here in Houston, Elizabeth Stein. He checked in with Elizabeth and said, "We're listening to the show." He was on his way. His name was Tim, and he was with his dog, who's also part of the fire department. The dog's name is Lux. So if Tim and Lux, you're listening, or anybody else serving as a Houston firefighter or a policeman or military, we thank you for your service and keep listening. We appreciate it. And now it's time to get down to business as we're going to talk about real estate. In addition, we're going to also talk about interior design coming up. So top producing real estate professionals are on this show. Our first guest is Kiani Komezi. Her company is called Kiani Realty. Kiani Realty. Here she is. Kiani, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks.
So here it's been a while. We're at the brand new studio. We're glad you're back.
I love your studio. I did a story because you have a downtown view, like a Google kind of a theme. So I love it.
Yeah, it's very modern, very
Yes.
Apple-ish, Google-ish, and all that sort of
know.
thing. And it's even better that you're here now today to talk about real estate.
Yeah.
So the market's shifting. People are telling us that, Kiani. Let's tell people, first of all, about your company, and then we'll talk about the market going on right now.
Sure. So very quickly about my brokerage. Do you remember last time I was here, I was planning to open my brokerage. And now
right.
It's been 2 years. So I do have almost 30 agents in Houston and Austin. And we are growing. I cannot wait to have way more than this. We are still, I call myself a boutique brokerage. I gave a one-on-one to all my agents, a one-on-one attention to all my agents. But beside that, about the forecast of Houston.
Yeah, if you were to give a forecast right now, here we are looking at the end of the year. What would you say, what do you feel is going to happen or based on even facts?
I feel like people should listen to me because I'm not from Houston. I'm an immigrant.
And millions of others are right now. So.
And I freaking love Houston because of this healthy market that Houston has. CNN just recently had a article that we are number 4 healthiest economy regarding Houston regarding housing market. So guess what? We are doing great. And we are going to keep doing great. And please keep that in mind because I've heard about this from so many other agents that are freaking out. Market is crashing, recession, this, that. I'm like, guess what? It's not going to happen in Houston. Mark my word. Why? Because first of all, even though if you look back in 2008 when this happened.
That's a long time ago.
That's a long time ago. That's a long time ago. And on top of that, we had such a really nice, healthy market even back in the days. Still, we are doing great. And comparing Houston to, let's say, Los Angeles or the cities, or even Austin, even Dallas, their housing market jumped more than 30%. Houston still went up very, very healthy. So that's why I'm positive nothing's going to happen. So those people or those buyers that are waiting the market crash and then they purchase, they're going to lose. Like, do not wait. Just buy as much as you can because still more people are joining Houstonians because they know what we have.
Well, you're exactly right. There are several markets around the country that are doing better than others. And I think what happens is as people listen to the national news and read things about real estate, generalize things, yeah, there are some cities, some states that aren't as popular, are not as economically healthy. And we're unique right off the bat with the kind of different industries we have. So, yes.
Some states were on the edge of bankruptcy for years. For years. Of course, they're going to feel it, or they're going to feel it more than other states. But Houston is old money, oil money. We know what we're doing. Medical, I mean, yes, yeah.
So let's tell people, how do you approach your real estate profession? You are now, since you've been on a couple times, you are now a broker. You have agents with you. But as far as your approach to helping buyers and sellers, let's tell people what you're doing.
So the main thing that I believe we all should consider is that we are in this business to help others. As soon as you understand this, then you're going to be good. So we are not here to just do one transaction. We are here to help people to understand what is their need. Do they need a good school? Do they need a big house? Do they just want to be away from Houston, or they want to be inside this loop and happening? So we go based on that and help them.
As far as geographically, do you have some areas that you work more often than others? You're certainly based here. As we look out the window, I can almost see your house from here, from the studios, kind of, sort of. But and we're in the uptown area right now in Houston, those that are listening from afar. But in the meantime, what areas do you seem to frequent?
Money is green.
Buying or sellers?
No, money is green everywhere for Kiani Realty, so I work everywhere.
It's green everywhere.
Yes.
See, and there's we should go green, right? How about that?
Let's go.
Let's go green.
I do go green. I was about to bike here.
That's right.
Yeah.
You have several options to get to the studio. And everybody wants to know that's listening right now. You could bike.
Vespa.
You have a Vespa.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, let's say, so the market you feel is going to continue to be strong here in Houston.
For sure.
And one of the things, let's say, again, helping buyers and sellers, when you serve the buyers and sellers wherever they are, what are some of the distinctions of working with you that people can expect? You're super fun. We know that. Knowledgeable, but what else?
Yeah, the main thing that I always tell people is that it's my knowledge. First of all, because of my architectural background, I know about buildings.
That's right. You used to be an architect. I forgot.
Yeah. I'm still an architect. I just don't practice it anymore. So that helps me a lot. My knowledge on this real estate, and I've been here for the last 22 years, so I know Houston like back of my hand. So you can just tell me what you're looking for, and I'm like, bling,
put it together.
Yeah.
One of the other things I think you have a superpower is your marketing, especially using things like Facebook. You were on the show, I don't know if it was the first or second time, but your Facebook views hit over 1,500. And the second time, I think it was up to 2,000 views, and then they stopped counting. They said, we're going to stop. But how do you know how to work Facebook and the other social media, and how does it help buyers and sellers?
So I believe that all those brokerages that telling their agents go knock on people's doors are over. Let's not do that anymore, because, everything is about Instagram, Facebook, online marketing. So that's all I do. So marketing is the key. And I do have a really good clients and fans. So they, like, as soon as I post something, they go check it out. And again, I share so much of my knowledge with them. So that's why they follow my page. And
so of all the social media vehicles, which one is your favorite, or which one do you think helps buyers and sellers and yourself the most, if any? Or are they all equal?
All of them. I do everything. But mainly, I feel like Instagram is better than a Facebook nowadays. But I do all of the above.
As far as when things are shifting a little bit still, but if you're helping, let's say, a seller, right? And let's say they're in the area that we're in right now, the uptown, inside the loop, kind of near the Post Oak Hotel and that sort of thing. When you're helping sellers in this area, what are you telling them when they're getting ready to, when they say, hey, Kiani, I want to list my house? What should I expect as a seller?
I show up as who I am, first of all. So I do not try to dress like someone else. That's the main thing. If I like to show up with a dress, I do that. If I like to show up with my curly hair, I do that. I do not show up with a straight hair or suit because I don't do that. I'm the curly hair one with however I dress.
By the way, those that do not see the YouTube video, your hair is very, very curly.
Thank you. Yes.
It's beautiful, yes.
That's who I am. So that's the first thing. I always show up with myself, confidence, and who I am, not trying to copy someone else. That's the main thing that all agents need to know. And the second thing, I go with my listing package, which I do 3D tour, I do drone, I do listing videos that I post them everywhere in US that you can imagine. That's why, nowadays we have so many buyers from out of state, so we have to focus on those people as well. I put it on my social medias. I put it on my website, whatever you can guess, I go above and beyond. I do really luxury open houses for them. Okay, let me correct myself. If I'm selling a $100,000 condo, I might not go all the way in like that. But if I'm selling a house around this Tanglewood area, I go all and
multi-million-dollar homes.
Exactly, and I do have another company which is Nikki Design. I do staging, so I stage their house as well.
You have a lot of irons in the fire. We are talking with Kiani Komezi. The company is Kiani Realty. You mentioned buyers. As far as when you help buyers, how many, if any, let's say take the last 10 buyers, right? However much it was, how many are from outside of Houston or outside of Texas, if any?
I'm sure you would like to hear this story.
I would love to. Everybody else would, yes.
So I had a client from California, and this young guy was like near 40 years old. He sold his house, which was like $2 million in California. California. And he brought that money in Houston. I purchased 4 properties for him, and he retired. So 4 $500,000 homes. One he's living in, which is bigger than the house that he was living in California, right? Bigger and better. And the other 3 $500,000, I leased it for him. So he's collecting that money, and he's just enjoying life. So buyers to buyers are different. So some of my buyers are investors. Some of my buyers, they have the money, they don't know what to do. Some of them are first-time home buyers. So my advice to every single one of them can be different.
Before we close this segment, Kiani, what else do you want people to know?
That I'm an awesome brokerage, and probably they would like to join my brokerage.
Super awesome, in fact,
Thank
I would
you.
add. I'm going to add that. And let's tell people how people can reach you.
They can find me at Kiani Realty on Instagram. My phone number is 832-276-9935. Or they can email me at Kiani Realty. And Kiani is Kiani. Kiani.
And the phone number is 832-276-9935, right?
You got it.
Thank you for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Let's welcome Natasha Simon. She is with Keller Williams Memorial right here in Houston, Texas. Natasha, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's awesome to see you. First of all, I want to tell people how we even met and the preamble to the invitation of being here, and that is you were at the Houston Business Journal Awards, and you won an award. So first of all, let's start right there with the award-winning part of Natasha Simon. What award did you win? Let's tell people.
For this last ceremony, I won top number 4 producer in Houston for 144 transactions closed in 2021.
All right, let's savor that just a minute. So you were number 4 in 2021 with how many transactions?
144.
That's almost one every other day. Something
That's
like
what Larry
that.
said.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I didn't think about it like that until he said it.
So give people an idea. Certainly a lot of real estate professionals listen to the show. Some people are brand new in real estate, but also everybody else listens. So from the mindset, the success mindset, to be able to do the volume of transactions, because you're dealing with people, those are both buyers and sellers, right?
Yes.
Give people an idea as you're involved in each one of those transactions, what you're thinking to be able to handle it successfully, and then think about, okay, I'm going to do another one and another, and I'm going to keep on striving.
So you said the mindset.
Your mindset when you're doing all this to be successful.
I would say I'm blessed to have the team that I have, because if I didn't have that team, I couldn't do what I've been doing. So when I get a lead in, I kind of work it like the doctor, and then I pass it off to the nurses, and then they handle all the little stuff.
So you're kind of the surgeon.
I'm the surgeon. I come in and remove whatever parts or add parts that need to be, and I give.
And nothing's going to hurt.
And it still hurts.
Oh.
It still hurts, but at the end of the day, it's worth the pain because they get keys.
They get the keys at the end of the deal. But still, that is a suit. Now, that was 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take, if you remember, 2020. How many transactions did you have that year, out of curiosity, just to see the arc, how this goes up?
I think about 120.
So there you are, steadily growing the business. Here we are in 2022, Natasha Simon.
I don't know how many I've closed, because I think that throws me off track. But I know Keller Williams puts out numbers, and the last set of numbers that I know of, I think I've already contracted over 100 houses.
You're already over 100 right now?
Yeah, they're slated to close this year.
I have a feeling we're going to be seeing you next year.
Oh, I'm going for number one.
You're going for number one. Isn't that the great thing about competition? When we achieve or about achievement and then competition, when we achieve something, kind of makes us hungry for the next
number
level.
one. That's my favorite spot.
So
I'm good there.
Now let's talk about the transaction. Some of the things that you think about. Each one of those 144 in 1 year. You're up to 100 right now. Each one of those, you're dealing with people, right? Buyers and sellers. Sometimes it's an individual. Sometimes it might be a couple, right? Mm-hmm. Give us an idea of some of the things that you think are helping you be successful, navigating just the personalities and adapting to each different. I mean, we're all so different.
Everybody's different. I think because I'm the same every time, I'm a very direct person. So I get in trouble a lot, but they know most of my business is about 85% referrals. So because I'm 85% referrals, they're kind of already given a pretext on what they're getting, and they're getting the best, but it comes with, straight shot, no chaser.
So I think that's profound right there, the same every time. But yet you're the same in terms of you as a person and how you're going to provide that level of service, but you're adapting to all these personality types out there and needs that different people have. Yeah,
my personality is the engineering background. Before I was an engineer for 12 and a half years prior to being in real estate. So I was real estate part-time for a while. And because I'm an engineer, I'm process driven. So the moment I get anybody, I just, I figure out what they need, and I kind of give them their prescription. And so even though I have a different prescription for everyone, my process is still the same. It's still very straightforward, clean cut. This is how you get from A to B.
So that's almost like systems and procedures, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm an airline pilot, I have to go through systems and procedures, or things could go wrong,
mm-hmm.
right? We have to check the boxes. And also when something does start to wobble or something, then we have
I have a process to put you back in line.
Go.
And that's pretty much, I'm glad you broke it down that way, but that's pretty much what my team does. If anything falls out of bed, we put it back into bed and we go. That's how we end up getting keys 144 times in 2021.
That's unbelievable. So now you're with Keller Williams. One of the great things about Keller Williams, our good buddy Larry Frawley, right? When I met you there was Larry right in the wings, and we got to all get together. But one of the nice things is that there are great training, and there's a lot of tools over there that Larry provides, right?
They have so many. It's the best brokerage that I've ever been at. Like, they are really, truly behind their agents, and they make sure that we have whatever resources we need to get things done. And this helped me grow even more, which is why I see why I've already contracted over 100 homes. And I'm right at halfway through the year.
And as far as the marketplace right now, in fact, Larry, as he was here, he said there's a shift going on in the market, and that was about a month ago now, maybe 3-4 shows ago. So what are you seeing as the agent that's out there leading the team, helping the buyers and sellers? What kind of shift, if any? What are you seeing?
I mean, of course, it's harder because I do a lot of the first-time home buyer market, so the interest rates are really impacting us.
Yep.
But I can say that my business has not slowed down.
That's amazing.
The business is I'm still on track. My goal is to close 200 homes this year.
That's a lot of, again, we're going to when I think about there's 365 days a year, that's almost one every other day. And That's a lot. So as far as, go back to the things as far as engineering, I think that's a thing. I know myself, I found that I have like engineering tendencies that could have been something I could have gotten into years ago, but didn't. But how else has engineering helped you? And do you miss engineering at all? I think it's a fascinating profession.
I don't. I think it was just, I only got into engineering because I wanted to prove I could do something brilliant. And I did that for 12 and a half years. So it's kind of like I got that T-shirt. I'm good.
And I think real estate probably pays a little better, especially in the level you're at.
Yeah.
Don't tell anybody, though, right?
Yeah. Real estate pays, the way we do it, real estate, we're a multi-million-dollar team. So we produce a lot.
That's amazing. So let's tell people what some of the other things. Now, this takes a lot of time. Let's just take, I don't know, 2 transactions. I mean, every transaction has a lot of parts to it. And when I think about a person's day, anybody's day, yours, mine, there's a point we want to rest. But real estate, especially doing this many transactions, could take up, I think it could take up day or night. And if you didn't sleep, it could be 24 hours around the clock. So how do you balance all the activities and things, even with the team helping? How do you balance all that to be able to have some personal time? And you're married, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, what happens?
Truthfully, I don't know. I mean, besides God, I don't know how I'm doing it because my partner, Eric Dominguez, he jokes and says, how does she do all of this and still have time to make the kids games, cook dinner?
Do you have children too?
We have 4.
Oh,
4 boys.
Wow.
4 boys, and I still managed to make
capital H. How do you do it? Yeah.
So
holy smokes.
I still don't know how I do it, but I do know I sleep very well at night. I probably go to bed at about 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Really?
But I rise at about 6. I lounge around till about 6:30. Emails get fired off. So I go pretty hard. The kids come home from school, around 3. You cook dinner, get them to practice or whatever. So I couldn't tell you how I do it, but I think one thing I do know is that I get a lot of good rest. I get more than 8 hours of sleep.
That's very important for so many reasons.
Yeah, so I guess that's why, my old broker used to tell me, you should take 10 laps before you start your day because I have so much energy and I'm wearing everybody out. Everybody on my team jokes and says, or they always say, I'm getting another gray hair because of you. And I always tell them, I give them out, I don't get them. I don't have any. And I'm 40 years old. So
you look like you're 23. That's unbelievable. So the children, four children, from what are the age range?
9, 14, 21, 25.
How about that? Now, are they involved? Do they help? Some of them are old enough to actually be helpers in the business. You get any help from the children?
The 2 little ones, no, not really. The middle one, he's in college in Baton Rouge, so
he's too far. Yeah.
But he will be getting licensed. And then the oldest one is licensed, but he didn't want to listen to me. He wanted to be a little hard-headed, so he's now at another brokerage.
How about that?
Yeah, but he's doing well.
Well, that is unbelievable. And that's the thing, too. They see you're probably, as far as the example that you put forth around the house with the kids, I'm just imagining where you have the success in real estate. Hey, Mom just won this award, or she's working on another home sale and all this. Mm-hmm. They get to be around that. So there's some great life lessons that they have, work ethic, too, that they get exposed to.
Yeah, and kids will be kids. So I just, with the older one who ventured off, he has to follow Mama's rules.
That's unbelievable. So in the meantime, give us an idea of some of the other things that you think about, or as far as being able to exceed and learning and things like that. What are some of the other things that you do? You're getting a lot of rest. That's super. But what are some things that you do to keep the winning attitude and to keep that energy level high?
I would say I work hard, but I play harder. So we do a lot of vacationing and that kind of stuff to make sure that I'm always refreshed.
You like to vacation, huh?
I do. We took our whole team, the money team, to Hawaii last year.
Yeah.
42 people.
Now, this is your team.
This is my team plus a few other family members outside of the team.
So you said, hey, okay, and that was like a reward or just a recharge?
I guess it was a reward recharge. It was just being grateful that they, work for us and work hard for us because I know I drive them crazy every day.
And I have my pen here. I might be applying to be on your team here after the show. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody it's
just
Stewart.
Just the rest
of
iHeartMedia.
But so look, that's a super place to recharge, Hawaii, huh?
It was amazing.
That many people.
That many people.
Y'all had a good time.
We had an amazing time. We were there for I think it was 5 days.
Unbelievable.
So we had a great time. But my team is I have 8 people. My mom's my assistant, and the rest of the team, I have 3 more people coming on. So the team is growing. I don't want it to get too big, but I would say that I'm that agent that's going to work hard for you and get it done most efficiently. I guess most efficient as possible, because efficient is my middle name. Just coming from where, Natasha, Monique, efficient
Simon.
Yes.
That sounds good to me. So let's tell people how they can reach you, Natasha.
They can reach us at, my telephone number is 281-804-1720. We have a Facebook, which is the Real Estate Money Team, an Instagram, Real Estate Money Team, my website, NatashaSimonRealtor.com. So they got pretty much a lot of, contact us.
And the phone number again is?
281-804-1720.
Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much fun was this conversation?
It actually was exciting.
There you go. I'll take that.
You did a great job of pulling everything out of me, because I was so scared and nervous.
Super job. Thank you, Natasha Simon, for being on the show.
Thank you.
And let's welcome Adrian Laday. His company is Adrian Laday Interior Design. Adrian, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's been a long time since we had anybody talk about interior design, so I'm glad that we're together. Okay. I saw your ad somewhere or an article about you. I said, let's call Adrian and see what's up. Let's tell people about your company, Adrian.
Okay, so the name of my company is my name, Adrian Laday Interior Design. I'm a full-service interior design firm, so I take on everything from new builds to renovations to simply wallpaper, draperies. Like I said, full service, so I take on all projects. I think I have a love for residential remodels. I love transforming older spaces into new spaces that you love. And I also have a specialty in drapery. That's where my business started. So custom drapery and window treatments is something that I do a lot of.
So then someone could say, hey, Adrian, my living space, I need a redo. I'm getting tired. Or they could say, hey, the whole house needs a redo. You can do both of those projects.
Yes, I take all scales of projects, from one room to whole home renovations. Whatever is bothering you about your current space, we can talk about it and see if we need to just do a refresh as far as colors and fabrics and furniture, or if there is some architectural changes that we can make to help you love your home more.
So I would think with your training, you go through training and, of course, your experience and portfolio. When you see a room, mm-hmm. It's going to be different than the way I see a room. Because one of the things I know just personally, and I bet other people can identify, and that is they have their home and they might take Architectural Digest, or they might look at the homes online, the real nice homes, and they say, man, my home doesn't look anything like that. How can I get there? And some of us, like me, can't figure it out where we need that kind of help. So when you look at a room, what are the things that you see where all of a sudden I bring you over and I say, hey, Adrian, I need this living space better? What goes through your mind, and what do you see right away to be able to process how you can improve it?
For me as a designer, the programming, or what I call programming, is super important. So I'm going to ask lots of questions. I'm going to ask you, what don't you like about the space? What feels wrong about the space? Is it the lighting? Is it that the furniture is arranged in a way that's not conversational? Do you entertain large parties and there's no place for everyone to gather? Do you typically like to use a caterer, and your current setup with your kitchen and dining does not lend to that being easy? So I design from a place of programming and understanding how you live, as opposed to imposing my ideas about the space. I really want to understand how you live and how I can change your space to make your life better. Because
there's so many things that can be done with a room, right?
Absolutely.
And a lot of times it's not just adding, but it's, I would guess, taking away as well.
Sometimes editing is very, very important. A lot of times it's too much furniture. It is the way it's arranged. It's too much art or not enough. It really can depend on the space. But editing is just as important as embellishing the space.
That's unbelievable. So let's tell people the process. There may be someone right now that's thinking, man, I need that one room, a redo on my office,
Right.
or that living space. What's the process? And let's just keep it small for now. Let's say someone said, hey, Adrian, I need help in my living space, and they call you up. Hey, Adrian, what happens then? What's the process? How long does it take?
So to start from the beginning, the easiest thing to do is to go to my website, have a look at my portfolio, and there's a contact form on my website. And so we will book a complimentary Zoom consultation, or you can come to my office at no obligation to you. We can talk about your project, your timeline, your budget, all those things, and see if it fits and see if it's a good fit. It's a way for both of us to find out if your project fits what I offer, and if the scheduling works. We can do all that with no obligation. Once we have squared away all those things, our next step is an in-home consultation. It's where I'm going to come out to you. We're going to take measurements. I'm going to get more of that programming that I talked about, what's going on with the space. Then I'm going to take all those notes, go back to my office. We've taken care of all the business as far as contract and funding the contract, that sort of thing. The initial design presentation takes 2 to 3 weeks for me to pull that together. I'll usually come back to you, or you can come to my office. It just depends on, because a lot of times the spaces are under construction, so we need to do the visit at my place instead of theirs. We'll do a presentation meeting at about 2 to 3 weeks, and then from there, there's going to be some design revisions. I've suggested some things, and hopefully 75 to 80% of the things that I have suggested are accepted, and we'll go with those and make the revisions as necessary. Then we make all the decisions before we start issuing proposals to purchase things and talking
like
with
furniture
contract
pieces if we need that.
Exactly. That is the part of the process that I think most people that have never worked with the designer find the biggest adjustment, is that there's a lot of work on the front end. So we have made almost all the decisions for the project before somebody swings a hammer, before any furniture's ordered. It's all been designed. It's all been laid out. We know the details on everything. We know what fabric goes where, what piece of art goes where it come from, how long it's going to take to make it. We know all that before we start placing orders.
And what if there's like one piece of furniture I'm like, yeah, I like that, so don't take that. Can we work around that? I mean, we can incorporate some of the existing things as well, right?
Yes, for sure. Sometimes furniture can be reupholstered if it needs to be. Art can be reframed. There are, as long as it is in line with the vision of the final space, of course we can use it. And I like to use it and give things new life.
Now, if it's so bad or hideous, will you tell me?
Absolutely.
There you go. So you're gonna say it like it is, huh?
Yes.
That's what we need.
Yes. I mean, and I think anybody that is going to work with me, I think you have to be prepared to work with someone who is, I like the term radically candid. I am very honest and very straightforward with how, especially when it comes to design. We can't be emotional about a lot of things. It's too big, it's too small, it's the wrong color. Those are just facts.
And your website is?
AdrianLaday.com. My name is Adrian, last name Laday, Laday.
Let's tell people, of all the things you could be doing, how is it that you love being an interior designer? Mm-hmm. And what are some of the things that you're doing to stay on top of trends and to learn about new things that are involved, whether it's different furniture or different furniture trends? Let's tell people about that. First of all, why do you like this so much?
It was a natural thing. When I was a kid, the show Trading Spaces was really popular. So I was a kid driving my mom crazy because I was doing crazy things with paint and furniture and taking things apart and that whole thing. So it's been a natural love since I was a kid. To stay current with trends, I attend the furniture market in High Point, North Carolina. Also, there's a market in Atlanta that I enjoy. Also, the shelter publications as far as Architectural Digest, Elle Decor are some of my top ones. And also staying in the know what's going on in the fashion world. It really helps as well, hand in hand, because if we see it on a fashion runway, usually it won't be long before it trickles down into home decor colors.
There's so many interesting things on Netflix and TV or whatever you watch. Mm-hmm. Are there any shows that you watch that inspire you or you find just entertaining? the way as you're dealing with people and during a renovation or during a remodel, right there's all sorts of opportunities for fun, comedy, and even challenges.
So for me, honestly, because I live design every day, it's kind of one of the last things I want to watch on
the
TV.
Food Channel.
But I do enjoy cooking as well. But the one that stuck out to me that I really enjoyed, there's a designer out of Chicago, Tiffany Brooks, and she had a show, $50,000 Three Ways, where she would take money and show you 3 different options you could do with that money to transform a space. That was one of the most interesting shows that because I felt like it was very realistic on what things cost. And she's an amazing designer.
Because that's right. You could take the same dollar and we could do several things with it. Same thing if we talk about food. I could take $50 and we could find 3 different fantastic meals right there, here in Houston.
Yep, that's true.
I don't know the one I just discovered just about a week and a half ago. You may know the name. It's on Amazon Prime. I think the guy's name is Jeff Lewis or Richard Lewis. Do you know who I'm talking about? And he has gone with some celebrities where he goes and he's working on various projects. Man, I wish I remembered the name of it. And because part of the entertainment of that show is just the interaction with his team and with the individuals with their various different projects.
Right.
Is it Richard Lewis or Jeff? Anyway, whatever. People listening may know, but that's a good show because it's interesting, just like anything else, the before and after.
Absolutely.
Right? Everybody wants to know that.
Right. And most people don't really understand what all is involved in truly transforming a space. Most people think about going to the furniture store and picking something you like and having it delivered. But when we get into architectural changes and picking the molding profile and the profile of the countertops and the sheen of the paint, and when we get into the minute details, most people have no idea how much is involved in truly transforming a space.
Every detail is important.
Absolutely.
It sounds like it.
Yes, they are. If you're having any trouble with your space, whether it's a new build or you're thinking about a remodel or just adding drapery and window treatments to your space, I would love to help you. It's easy to get a contact with me. If you go to my website, it books a Zoom appointment directly to my calendar. I am the one that will show up and we can chat about whatever's going on in your space.
And your website is
AdrianLaday.com, and that's AdrianLaday.
Phone number
832-577-9610.
Thank you so much, Adrian Laday.
Thank you for having me.
Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title would not be possible without our partner, Stewart Insurance. With a focus in real estate and a special focus on real estate brokers, Stewart Insurance creates insurance plans to address the risks facing our industry today. They invest a significant amount of time helping broker owners offset and manage their risks. Here he is, John Bramblett with Stewart Insurance. Hey, John.
Hello, Bill. Nice to see you.
Once again, here we are, and a fantastic show. I love talking to people that are excited about what they do right there. I don't care what it is, but to have a passion about your profession, that just makes me feel good.
Well, another thing that I thought was unique especially about all 3 of our guests today, is how competent they are in what they do and how they do it. That if you were a client of any of the 3, you've got to be comfortable that you're going to be taken care of, because they just exude confidence and make you feel like, yes, I've made the right decision in working with this individual.
And if people tune into the YouTube channel by going to stewart.com/radio, 2 of the guests have super curly hair. Unlike me.
And 2 of us do not.
3 of us don't.
Do not.
But all of us right here in this room and those listening out there on the highway and everywhere else, we all need insurance in a variety of degrees. And here you are to talk about insurance once again.
Well, I'm going to throw you a curveball.
Well, maybe not. Baseball?
Well, I wish it. No, we could definitely do that. We could definitely do that.
All right.
I want to talk about a malaise that's going around.
Because of the heat?
No. This is
Okay, let's talk about
this
it.
happens regardless of the temperature.
All right. Malaise.
A malaise. It affects us personally and professionally, and unfortunately, I'm guilty of this as well. And there was an article that I read about. It's been bothering me recently, and then I read an article that covered this, and it really kind of hit me, and I thought it would be fun to talk about on the show. But we've either don't know or we've forgotten the difference between hearing and listening.
Yes.
That hearing, or the other way to look at it is we listen to respond versus listening to understand.
I am so guilty of that. Yes.
Well, and I think we all are to an extent, but I've really been trying to focus on it, and as a result of that, anything you kind of focus on can manifest itself. So you see it and you pay attention. And this article was interesting because there was research done by a company called Medium.com that I was not familiar with, but they focus on new ideas and ways of thinking. And then this group called University of People. It is an online, American-based, tuition-free, accredited university, and they also did the study on this idea of hearing versus listening. And we all naturally hear sounds, but it's a mental action, a focus that's required to listen and to understand. And that was really kind of the driver through that if you're going to truly be an effective communicator and truly make sure that whomever you're having the conversation with, that you have the ability to tune out those sounds and words in your head and tune in the sounds and words that are coming from whomever you're visiting with.
That is so relevant because let's take the real estate profession, any profession, but the real estate profession, you have to be listening to the clients, the buyers and sellers, the would-be buyers and sellers. It's so important. And one of the things I find, I'm thinking about the next thing, especially doing this show sometime, thinking about that next thing to say where I might not capture or engage like a gear meshing. So, yeah.
Well, if you think about our guests today, they were all, one of the things they all three emphasized was the interview process. So taking the time to find out what's important to their clients. And based upon what's important, then they can come back with a solution that best meets their needs. But in order to do that, you really have to be a strong, active listener. And there were some great, I thought, characteristics to keep in mind. The first one, and this is the toughest one for me and I think for all of us, is no interruptions that allow somebody to finish their thought before we jump in, because we have this great idea and I want to help or I can speed it along or whatever, and I jump in and you may not completely then obtain what they were trying to come across. This idea of repeating back and summarizing.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So Bill, you had mentioned this, or Bill, you indicated that this was important to you. Did I capture that correctly? Pick up on body language. It's harder in today's digital world, but even with Zoom calls or Microsoft Team meetings, you can still pick up some on body language. Ron Willingham, who wrote the great book Integrity Selling for the 21st Century that we've both read, talks about listening to how people feel. So try to get as you listen, how are they feeling? So I always thought that was great. And then just some of the things that you can do from an eye contact perspective. I mean, you've always done that really well with your guests on the radio show, is that you keep an eye contact with them and acknowledge what they're saying through nodding. And then I think the other one that I think is really great that our boss at Stewart Insurance, Tom Carpentier, talks about all the time is asking questions. He says a question is always better than an answer. So the ability to get clarified, so you truly do understand. And if you do all those things, now you have trust built. Now you've got a rapport. Now you've got a relationship, and you truly understand what somebody's need is.
And I'm glad you mentioned Tom Carpentier, because he has been at the helm of Stewart Insurance over a decade, for sure.
Yes.
And if he were to be here right now, and we asked him one of his keys to success, I bet that's one of them right there.
It is that Tom does a great job of asking questions.
He's a thinker too. When he asks the question and you're answering, he's thinking. You could see him thinking and digesting it.
Well, absolutely. I mean, he truly takes on this idea of what's the pain, what's the challenge, what are we trying to accomplish? And by asking questions and taking the time up front, not trying to get to a solution right away so we can go on to the next transaction to sell another policy. It goes back to what we've talked about many times about the idea of building plans. And Tom is as good as anybody at that, in that taking the time to find out what those needs are. So it could be, have you thought about this? What about this consideration? So again, he's asking questions to find out that information. But in order to be a good question asker, you also have to be an active listener.
And I will say this, 439 shows into this show, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. It was Tom Carpentier's vision back those many weekends ago, and whatever year that was, where he said, yes, that's a good idea.
Well,
and he got behind it 100%. I'm so glad he did.
Well, you and Tom and Betty Warren
That's right.
Put this together, and as you said, 439 shows later, and I'm just lucky to have been an active member for the last couple of years.
But he is a visionary, as many people are. But Tom, that's one of the things. He was not afraid to step out there. Let's try something new. But that was part of, unbeknownst to me until these years later, that was part of what you're describing right now, that processing and that listening. And by that, he kind of saw ahead. And I think when we do that, we get a little bit, that's almost like having headlights on where we're going.
Well, and I think
maybe
if you are an active listener and you truly listen to understand versus listening to respond, the other thing that comes out of it is what you're describing with Tom is that you're creative, because you now have enough information that you can have some creative thoughts. So, as Adrian was talking about asking the right kinds of questions, I can come back and take your bland living room and turn it to something
exciting,
really livable. Or with Natasha or Kiani, taking the time to ask the questions and find out what's important, that they come back and say, this is the home for you, or this is the neighborhood for you, or this is the part of the city of Houston that would best suit you.
And one of the things each one of the guests, as we're reviewing, we don't usually do this, but as we're thinking about this, each guest here today said that they arrive as they are, but yet adapt to the thousands of people that we deal with and the different complexions of each individual and personalities. We adapt to that in doing business, but yet we want to be authentic when we arrive to be able to help buyers, sellers, and people even in the interior design world.
Absolutely. I think people recognize if you truly are authentic, because that's telling somebody that you're comfortable in your own skin. And because you are comfortable in your own skin, you will ask the right types of questions, but you've also either intuitively or through study, figured out what people's personality traits are. Again, going back to integrity selling for the 21st century, the author Ron Willingham identifies 4 personality traits and talks about how you can adapt to those. You can still be yourself, but understanding that how you conduct business with a talker is going to be completely different than how do you conduct business with somebody that's a controller. And understanding that personality, being able to recognize that, so maybe we take a little longer, or maybe we move faster. Maybe we get to the point, maybe we spend 30 minutes in a meeting and 25 of it is just visiting and 5 of it is around business. But again, it depends on who that individual is and what's their personality trait. But again, it goes back to, if you're observant and you're an active listener, you can figure that out. If you're listening to respond, you'll miss all the keys. But if you'd like to be properly insured, and all that means is that you're comfortable with the coverage that you have, that the plan that we build for you, and that could be the most robust plan in the world, or it could be a very simple plan. But as long as you're comfortable with the coverage you have and the risk that you're taking on versus the risk you're placing on the insurance company, then we would love to work with you, whether it be your home, auto, wind, flood, or if you're a real estate broker, property management firm, independent title or attorney agent, we can help you with your errors and omissions coverage, cyber liability, workers' compensation, general liability. They can call us at 866-798-2827. That's 866-798-2827. They can learn more about us at stewartinsurance.com, or they can email us at stewartinsurance@stewart.com.
West of the Mississippi?
866-798-2827.
And the East Coast line?
866-798-2827.
Thank you for being on the show once again.
Bill, always a pleasure.
And I'm saying hi. Hey, Tom, how are you? As we close the show, she's back. Kiani Comezi with Kiani Realty. Hey, Kiani, before we close things down, what else do you want people to know?
I'm doing great. I'm excited. It's a little bit cooling off, but again,
We hope so.
No, it's
the market.
it's
I hope the weather
market.
cools off.
No,
Wait a
that's
minute.
not gonna cool off.
I hope so. Soon.
But I'm sure it's just because people are shocked regarding the interest rate. In few months, it's gonna get back to norm, and we are gonna be all good.
There you go.
And I am recruiting agents, and I'm planning to open one in Dallas. So if people are hearing me in Dallas, let me know. We are looking to hire 2 more people in Houston, 4 in Austin, and we are opening one in Dallas pretty soon. They can reach me at kianirealty.com or 832-276-9935. or Instagram, Kiani Realty.
832-276-9935. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I always love being here.
Let's do it again sometime. And here comes Natasha Simon, Keller Williams Memorial. And also, Natasha, you call it the Money Team. What does it tell us again?
The Money Team.
There you are. So here she's back, Natasha Simon. And not only that, tune into the YouTube channel. I encourage you, Stewart.com/radio, because this show, we took extra care for the cameras to get everyone's good side.
Thank you.
So let's tell people, before we close things down, what else do you want them to know?
I want them to know that the Money Team is always here for them, and we do a great job of making sure they get closed. We've closed almost 1,000 homes, so experience is key. You know, you just
In what
can't-
period of time, the 1,000 homes? That's a lot of
10 years.
homes.
10 years. And it took me a long time to do that because I did it part-time.
As far as realtors, that it's hard to do it part-time. But apparently, I mean, you've excelled in every aspect, but you were actually able to have your engineering job, right, full-time,
Mm-hmm.
and you were part-time realtor learning the business, and then you just broke off.
Yeah, my
Not
last
looking
3
back
years.
at the engineering world.
Not at all.
Except for today, as we talked about it.
But my last 3 years with HP, I did over 50 transactions per
Unbelievable.
year, part-time.
And
But
your children, they're listening to the show, maybe you want to say hi?
hi.
Hi, kids. Let me sleep, right?
Oh, I sleep.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
Regardless, we were not worried about that. Hey, also, now you brought Wenji here today. Let's say maybe
This is
Wenji
one
wants
of
to
my
say.
newest
Come
members.
on, Wenji, just
You
say
wanna
hi
come over
real quick
here?
before you're part of the team. Wenji, let's tell people what you do on the Money Team.
So I help out with the Money Team, getting people in their homes, our first-time buyers. Wherever I fit in to help, I'm there to help.
And there you are, easy to remember, Wenji, right?
Wingy, yes.
Super awesome. All right, Natasha, let's tell people how they can reach you.
281-804-1720. NatashaSimonRealtor.com. Facebook and Instagram is Real Estate Money Team. And one of my mottos is, if I can't do it, it can't be done.
And the phone number again is?
281-804-1720.
Thank you so much for being on the show. Here he is, Adrian Laday.
Thank
Adrian
you.
Laday, interior design. Thank you, Natasha.
I would just like people to know that I would love to help them with all their interior design and window treatment needs. If it's inside the sheetrock, it's worth reaching out to me and see if I can help. And you can reach me on my website, adrianladay.com, or email me directly, adrian@adrianladay.com. And again, you spell my name, ADRIANLADAY.
You know, it's dawning on me, this is a good time to change things up at the house right here as we get ready. I'm going to say it. We're going to be getting ready for 2023, so we get to start the project now. We'll be ready by Christmas.
Yes, absolutely.
If not sooner.
And if you are wanting something for the holidays, now is the time to start. A lot of lead times on furnitures are sometimes 14, 16, 20
that's
weeks.
right. We got to factor that.
Especially if we're doing anything custom. We are not going to the store and picking something off the shelf. We are designing something specific for you, so we need to allow lead time.
Thank you all for listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Knapik, together with John Bramblett, Tom Carpentier, Will, our super producer, Justin Ramirez, Larry Warren, so many people at Stewart Insurance and Stewart Title there to help you every day. We're an international company traded on the New York Stock Exchange as STC. We're here to help you, as is Stewart Insurance, stewartinsurance.com. The full menu of insurance is right there for you. We want you to be properly insured. And thanks for listening to the show. Simply go to stewart.com/radio. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.